Hey guys, I'm Dave Magid from Minnesota Legal Assistance. I'm going to talk to you briefly about what is arbitration and what is arbitration within the context of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So you bring a fair credit, you've gone through the whole process to enforce your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and lo and behold, you get into, you bring your suit in state court, and then it gets removed all the way up to federal court, right? And then along comes the other side, and they tell you, this suit has to be dismissed from federal court because it's subject to arbitration. Well, what exactly does this mean? So arbitration is essentially a private set of rules, which means that you have agreed to, it's by agreement, I should highlight that. So, and these agreements will be buried in the terms of somebody you do business with. Okay, so it can be your credit card company or your bank or the company that you get your car loan from. Buried in those terms will be an agreement, two agreements actually, one that says you agree to resolve your suit via arbitration, and the other agreement will say that you agree to not bring a class action lawsuit, okay? And what this does is it allows the company to keep consumer suits out of federal court, because in federal court, you will often be entitled to a jury, and juries tend to do the right thing, right? They tend to punish for bad behavior and reward for good, and tend to actually hold people accountable. Okay, whereas arbitration provides a private set of rules, done by a private organization, which has the appearance of being fair, but is far from fair. And I'll tell you why it's far from fair. It's far from fair because you as a consumer will probably bring one suit in your lifetime, maybe two, maybe three, against a bank, collection company, you name it, right? But the bank, the collection company, the car loan company will be engaged in hundreds of suits on a daily basis, right? So these private companies know where the hand that feeds them is. The hand that feeds them is the organization who's engaging in hundreds of suits, not one in a lifetime. Okay, so that's what we'd call in game theory a repeat player. So these arbitration companies cater to the needs of repeat players. There's no question about it, as do the arbitrators themselves. The arbitrators themselves, there is no clear line to essentially a bribe, right? You ever want to get another case like this, find in our favor. You don't want to get another case like this, don't find in our favor. So it is crystal clear. I mean, there is a monetary incentive for the arbitrator to rule in favor of the company at all times. This is a fundamentally unfair process, and you want to avoid it at all costs. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court has said that this is okay. This is a travesty of American justice. You will not be in court. You will be in a private setting where not only will you get steamrolled by your bank or your collection company or whoever, and by the way, a lot of lawyers won't even take your case because they'll know where it's going. But on top of this all, you will potentially be subject to countersuit, all these other terrible things, and you really fundamentally want to avoid it. So again, it's a private process. It's got limited damages, and it's got questionable referees or arbitrators that are engaged in actually awarding the damages. You're not allowed to have a jury. You are subject to typically a lawyer, many of whom are former defense attorneys for these companies, who will make a determination on how much money you're entitled to. So if that sounds like a fair process to you, I would encourage you to go ahead and keep arbitration. But if that sounds unfair, I would recommend that you read your consumer agreement and opt out of arbitration at all costs should you ever need to actually enforce your rights. That concludes our just brief overview on arbitration. We've got much more detailed videos. I'd encourage you to hit like below, follow our other videos, and there's also a white paper series where you can get into a lot of detail in these subjects and really kind of get that law student perspective, if you want it, about what the FCRA is and what it provides you as a consumer. Thanks.